Let's look at the mess I've got here. There's a couple of scooters that I'm in the middle of trying to fix. Bloke gave me this scooter here to try to repair for him. It's a Rion electric scooter, one of those fairly powerful scooters that have got motors in both wheels, hub motors. And problem with this one was that the chap ran it to the ground. It had a couple of small geared hub motors, and these motors have got they got holes in the. Oh no, that's the front wheel. That's the one I'm going to put in. These motors have got holes in them for cooling, and unfortunately dirt gets in there and destroys them. Now this is one of the new motors that I'm going to put on. He was given these direct drive motors, not the geared one, but this is fairly powerful. It's a few thousand kilowatts. It's quite a big heavy beast, and I'm in the middle of converting it to this. The motors that he had have been wrecked. This is one of the old motors that he was running. It's been pulled apart. There are the gears on it, but gears have been wrecked, especially on the planetary system. See here, that gears, they're all been chewed, and these are steel gears. They're not even the nylon ones. And because of the cooling holes, as you run it, especially you go over dirt and stuff gets in there and it chews the thing, chews them up. And the other thing that there was a problem with this was this controller. This is a Kelly controller that came with the Rion scooter, and I've just sussed out all the wires here and put connectors on it, but this had a million wires on it that you have to try to figure out, and I've done that, so I can't show you what I did, but you got the whole wires. There's the whole sensors. Put connectors on there. There's a connector there for the switch, another one for the power. I've had to use the ER90 connectors on this because the scooter runs on a 80 volt system. You get quite substantial sparking when you put the thing together. So anyway, I've done this, and this sort of attaches to this great big battery here. It's a 68.4 that charges up to about 80 volts, so she's a big fella. There's quite a large BMS down in there. So this is the job. I've got to try to get the whole thing going. Now the new motors that I'm putting on, here's one of them here. I'm only putting one on. He's got two of them, but they're very powerful. It's a sort of a bit of overkill. Beautiful motors. The problem with those motors is trying to get the tyre onto them. These tyres are solid, and the only way you can do it is to heat the tyres up. You know, either stick them in the oven and warm them up, or, as I've done, I've used a hairdryer. Spent half an hour running the hairdryer over the tyre to soften it up, and you can sort of push it on as long as you lubricate the edges, a bit of soap on the rim here and on the inside of the tyre. And yeah, quite a job. I didn't film that, but I struggled to get it on. Here's the end result. Got the tyre on there. So, and I managed to pump it up. I couldn't pump it up at home because the tyres are tubeless, and to get them seated you have to put in a lot of air very quickly, and I had to take it to a tyre place to use a compressor to get the air in quickly. Anyway, okay, goes in there, washer, and the nut. And a big nut that fits onto the suspension. Alright, I'll tighten it all up in a while. Now make sure these are tight. The brake mounts, that one, they're quite tight, I did them before. The brake can fit on. And mounting screws. Ah, beautiful. There we go, spins freely. I better tighten these suspension bolts. I've got an elastomer, one of those rubber suspensions, saves having springs, shock absorbers, etc. Now, it's starting to look like a scooter now. Okay, next come the electronics. There's the controller. What do we need now? Okay, now that's a connector that I put on. That is the switch to turn the scooter on and off. The switch is actually back here somewhere. Okay, so now I've labelled everything. I've put all these connectors on and labelled them to make it easy for anyone, because I've got to give this back to someone, and so that they know what's going on. I stuck a fuse in line with the 3 amp fuse in line with the switch, just in case something goes wrong. Now, one thing that I found on this controller, this has got a brake cut-off. Couple of wires for the brake cut-offs that deactivates the motor when you put the brakes on, but this isn't connected to the scooter. There's no sensors going to the brakes, so obviously they don't bother with it. Okay, anyway, now let's do the phase wires. There's the motor. These are the 3 phase wires. Now, the other thing I found was that the colours don't correspond. No way. So I tried all sorts of combinations, but I've got them marked. Now this is B goes with B, and they're bullet connectors. There we go, all sensors are connected. What else have we got? That's the throttle, yes. This previously had one huge connector that connected everything up, but of course someone had fiddled with this and there was nothing that sort of matched. The connectors were not matching. Oh, it was a weird setup. I don't know what they did with this, but it didn't work very well. And okay, now I think we can find a spot in there for the controller. Spot in there, all of these. Now the only other thing we got to connect up is the power. The power of the controller goes to the power of the motor, of the battery, I mean. It's got an XT90, but she still sparks. Okay, let's try it out. Now, if I turn the switch on, the controller has a green light that tells you that everything's functional. Terrific. Let's see, does it work? Ooh. Wow. Wow. That is one hell of a motor. Ooh. This is a very, very powerful scooter. And this has got one motor. Some of them come with a motor in the front wheel as well. I can't imagine why you'd need that, but everything works. Okay, last thing, to put it all together, we'll go try it out. Well, there it is, all assembled, looks all okay. Right up to the handlebars. There's no control panel on this, no display, so you don't really know what's what.